officially live. And the timer started. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Trails on the Spectrum. And welcome back to another episode of the Off-Road Campground Podcast. This one's actually more personal to me. And this one's called How My Autism Helps Me Conquer the Trails at places like Carolina Adventure World, River Neck, and so many other places that I've been to. And go to the thumbnail that I made using ChatGPT. Yeah, the Off-Road Campground Podcast, How My Autism Helps Me on the Trails in My Side-by-Side. Yep, the Polaris Razor XP 41000 Ultimate. Focus, preparation, routines, and passion. I think I like that. So, when it comes to conquering the trails, I've learned how to be extra focused on the trails and knowing where to turn, how to turn, especially when those trails are very tight, and knowing how to, knowing when to press the brake when I'm descending down the hill, and then moving down and turning, and knowing where to turn, especially those sharp turns, so I don't fall off a hill or bump into a tree or anything like that. I'm extra focused on the trails. So whenever I go to River Neck, I always try to make sure not to go into any mud puddles or anything like that. And, not sinking, because I know the ability of my machine that it's not meant for mudding, because I don't really have that. I don't have a lift or a higher suspension to go in those mud holes. I just go wherever it's nice and dry. Or at least not as muddy, or I try to stay away from the mud puddles. That's for things like ATVs and jacked up side-by-sides that are just not that good looking at all. So with my machine being stock, especially with the stock suspension and the stock 30x10 tires, it's not meant to go in the mud hole so we don't get sunk like my brother did once in my side-by-side, sunk us in a mud hole, and I was like, what are you doing? So I'm really focused on the trails. And when it comes to the music part, providing the soundtrack for my trail rides, I always make sure I put the music on before I head on the trail so I can stay focused. And with USB and Bluetooth, I have that option. Yeah, I have that option whether to go and switch the tracks on the touchscreen without touching my phone. Because I got a big playlist I can play throughout my trail rides. I don't run out of music. If I do run out of music, it'll play, it'll actually auto-play music that's very similar to what was in the playlist. And that helps me stay focused on the trails. Especially at places like Carolina Adventure World where there's multiple terrain. It takes extra focus and determination and guts to go up those steep hills. And knowing when to put it in low gear, four-wheel drive, low gear, to climb those hills. I mean, I eventually do it. I was like, wow, I can't believe I did that. Let's actually look at some pictures from Carolina Adventure World. That's not it. I know I have the picture somewhere. Oh, March 2026. That's when I went. And let me switch to the screen recording. Let's try March 4th, 2026. So we're going to look at all the pictures. So we're going to switch over to the screen recording. Check, check, check. Testing 1, 2. We'll turn off the zoom right now since I'm not using zoom right now. So we're going to come over here to my pictures. A lot of these my dad took. I mean, that takes guts to get that muddy. It's also about heart, determination, and passion for what I do on conquering the trails, and not worrying about my machine getting really, really dirty. So that is basically after an hour or so, my first hour or so on the trail that day. It was raining, it was muddy. This hill right here takes guts, it takes determination, it takes strength, it takes bravery to climb that steep hill, because it's actually on the very top of the hill. So you can see from miles out there on top of that hill. I think that's really cool. I can type in January 2026, and then let me see. Here are some pictures of my Sabbath sign after it got cleaned in January. As you see, Carolina Adventure World isn't that bad. That's, me on top of that hill, not knowing in March I would conquer that trail or that hill that you can see from miles out there. It's definitely beautiful up there, on that hill. So it takes guts, it takes determination, it takes passion, it takes bravery to climb those hills. So basically, I mean, it takes a lot out of me going up and down those hills at places like Carolina Adventure World and River Neck. I mean, River Neck doesn't really have any hills, it's more flat. So that one is no problem once I know where the trails are, especially going through and cutting through a couple of trees. And knowing where to go. See, trail riding is all about exploring and just not caring where you're going. Just, riding the trails. I mean, it takes a lot. I mean, a lot of us are really hyper focused, especially when it's something we love to do, and that, for me, that's a lot of us. That's trail riding and driving. It takes a lot out of us. And when it comes to being autistic, I mean, a lot of us, it's about conquering our fears. It's about, man, what is it about? Yeah, it's about being hyper focused, focusing on what we love. Yeah, focus on the task at hand and just have fun with it. And just being carefree and letting it go. Just have fun on the trails, enjoying ourselves. Especially for those autistic adults and trying to find something they love to do. They can, you guys can get a side by side. You can get any kind of, well, mainly a side by side because side by sides are a lot more secure for people like us. And getting a side by side was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I'm almost at 1,000 miles on my side by side, which is amazing. I bought that side by side exactly a year ago. Next month, on the 30th, September 30th, it'll be exactly a year. So that episode will be my 1 year anniversary live about what it's like owning the side by side for about a year, and if it's worth getting a Polaris Razor after a year or so of ownership, or any side by side for that matter, after a year of ownership, and what it's like owning a side by side for over a year. And because of that, I've only been to Riverneck and Carolina Adventure World, places that are nearby, and also conquering rocks and crossing rivers and streams, conquering muddy trails. See, that takes a lot out of us because we have to really push down on the gas to get through and out of a sticky situation, especially when you're dealing with red clay. Types of trails at Carolina Adventure World. So here we go, special terrain and tracks, like you get mud bogs, rock crawling, motocross and enduro tracks, and bank oval track. So you're pretty much conquering all kinds of trails for Carolina Adventure World. You get rocks, you get mud, you get all kinds of types of trails that a lot of us have to conquer and be really, really focused on when conquering those trails. And if you are autistic and you're watching this, don't be afraid to go out and conquer those trails. Go out, get yourself a side by side, and just go cruising. And according to preparation, you always have to be prepared for what is to come our way. And I'm actually smart enough to know when to turn, when to stop, when to go downhill, when to press the brake, because I can actually see far ahead. But I guess if I take my glasses off, I probably won't be able to see that far ahead on the trail. But with my glasses, I can pretty much see a lot better. And once I keep focus on the road or on the trail, I'm able to see what's ahead. And sometimes, especially in the late evening into the nighttime when the sun's about to go down, the sun is like blinding me. So I guess I'll have to start wearing my sunglasses on the trail and just, be prepared. especially with clothing, which I think we already talked about. Packing all of our off-roading clothes and packing whatever we need for trail rides, whether it's our drinks, our snacks, packing our gear, like our off-roading gear, helmet, gloves. You know, if you're like, if a particular autistic adult is sensitive to certain things, they can always get something to help them out. I'm not sure what, because I haven't been sensitive to anything. With me being autistic, I guess I have a different level than any other autistic adult out there conquering the trails, living that outdoor life. So when it comes to preparation, come up with some ideas for preparation for an autistic side by side driver. So, okay. Yeah, pre ride routine. And what's also really cool about being an autistic driver is once I go back to like Carolina Adventure World or River Neck or any other trails that I've been to before, I know the routine. I know where to go, how to get there, how to navigate. It's all about memory. That's another thing. A lot of us autistic adults have great memories going over different trails and kind of knowing everything in it. So, and ChatGPT says absolutely preparation can be one of the ways autism helps an autistic side by side driver, especially if you naturally like routines. If you naturally like routines, planning, organization, or knowing what to expect before heading out. Some ideas I can talk about on the podcast. Okay, pre-ride routines, doing the same walk around before every ride, tire, suspension, lug nuts, fluids, fuel, lights, winch, and steering. A lot of that stuff I don't really do. So as far as a pre-ride routine, I don't really do that a whole lot because I know that my machine is in really good shape. It's brand new. It's literally brand new. It's a year old, but it's still in that new state. Almost 1,000 miles. Parking consistently. Keeping recovery gear, tools, first aid supplies, water, snacks, rain gear, and other essentials in designated places. Yeah, I'm not that kind of driver of packing consistently, keeping recovery gear, tools, first aid supplies. Well, I'm kind of like that because I did go to Walmart and get a first aid kit. I got a fire extinguisher and anything else like that for my prep. I've never had to use my fire extinguisher. I don't know why I got a fire extinguisher. So I do have. I don't really have any recovery gear. I just got whatever I could get at the camping in the camping section of Walmart and packed that into my little container. First aid supplies. I got a first aid kit. Water, snacks. We always do that. We always have water, snacks, rain gear. Don't really need rain gear because when we go, it never rains. Like barely. Because we always find a day when it's nice and sunny, there's no rain. We always check the weather app before I go out. So I know what to pack accordingly. And other essentials in designated places. For me, it's a container in the back of my side by side that I got for Christmas. I can lock it up, and that's where my helmet is. That's where my dad's helmet is. My mom's helmet's going to be in there. If we ever need a helmet. planning for sensory needs. This is where we kind of stopped off. Is if you're sensitive to certain things, you can actually pack that accordingly, which I'm not. I hardly. I'm not really that sensitive to anything when it comes to writing. Bringing sunglasses, yeah, my eyes can be very sensitive to bright lights because I can literally get. I don't really have the best eyesight, so I gotta pack sunglasses for that. Ear protection, don't really need ear protection at all. I'm actually really comfortable with the noise of my engine, my high powered 999cc motor in the Polaris Razor. I'm pretty good with that. Comfort, being comfortable. Okay, comfortable clothing. Yeah, I mean, I always pack whatever needs to be when I need to be protected. Cause I know I got like bumps and stuff all over my arms, but it's been like that for about a year or so. I don't know if I got. I don't know if that was from. I don't know what that was from. Like I have like red spots and bumps all over my arm. I don't know if that. I don't know what's going on. There's like little tiny bumps all over my arms. I hope that's not from like my clothing. I don't know what that was from. Especially when it comes to trail riding. Hope I wasn't sensitive to something. I didn't even notice. Weird. Absolutely weird. Let's see. Water or anything else that helps when the trails get loud, dusty, or hot or crowded. Yeah, that's why I never really have to deal with like crowded trails because me and my dad find a place or find a time that we go on the trails without it being crowded, and I can just go with the flow. And if there is someone there, it's always going to meet other riders. Dusty, I don't really care about, being dusty, hot. Me and my dad go in the fall and the winter time when it's a lot cooler, so I don't have to worry about that. Knowing my machine, since it's my own machine, I know that machine inside and out. And I know how to navigate my own machine, like with the gear shift, with the gear shift and the pedals, like the brake and the gas pedal. Paying close attention to how the side by side normally sounds and feels, which can make an unusual vibration, noise, or handling change easier to notice. Since it's my own machine that my dad got me for Christmas, or my parents got me for Christmas last year, which we got about December, November, October. So 3 months early before Christmas, on October 16th, because they were just flying off the shelves, and I knew that a lot of the older models were going to fly off the shelves, and I would have been screwed either way. I would have to have a newer model, and I knew that was the one I wanted. And ever since I was driving around the yard, I know my machine inside out. I know the feel. I know the operation. And of course, I know how to drive my side by side. Because I've been riding around numerous times around my yard. Just get some use out of it. Preparing for problems, thinking through situations such as getting stuck, breaking a belt, getting a flat tire, become separated from the group, or encountering a blocked trail. Well, that's why I have my dad there to help me out. He's a licensed driver, and he's always helping me out with certain things like getting stuck. We never really broken a belt because we always get my side-by-side service before we go on our first trail ride. Getting a flat tire, we never had to do a flat tire. I'm still riding with the OG 30x10 tires that came on the side-by-side about a year ago. Becoming separated from the group. We never go in a group. We just ride by ourselves. We have no one else riding with us in a group. I have a 4-seater, which is great. I can have me and both my parents in the side by side together, so we don't have to worry about getting separated or anything. So I had nothing to worry about with that. So there's really nothing much to help you guys with that. Using checklists, a written pre-ride, post-ride checklist can make it harder to forget something important. Well, that's why I have my dad there. He always makes sure we have our important stuff before we head on the trail. After we check into the cabin, I follow him in the side by side. That's great, which is awesome. I'm a grown man who is autistic, and I guess I don't really need supervision that much to follow my dad in the side by side while he parks his truck in the parking lot. So we don't really need a checklist. He always makes sure we have everything. Keeping a predictable routine. Loading the machine, inspecting it, checking gear, check the route. Ride having established sequence can reduce last minute uncertainty. That I don't really do. My dad always makes sure we load the machine up. We inspect. Well, we don't really need to inspect it because we always have everything. I mean, that's what Redline does. They inspect my side by side to make sure everything is working before we head on the trail. While we're getting it serviced, like the oil changes, the tire rotation, all the belts and stuff being changed, having established sequence. Oh, checking the route. We never need to check the route because we just go freestyle. Sometimes we could go to Trail 4 first, maybe go to Trail 6 at Carolina Adventure World. Because those are about an hour and a half. Charging electronics ahead of time. Phone. I can always charge my phone in the Razor because I do have a 12-volt power charger. Or I can charge it in our little container that's connected to the ride command. GPS, I don't really need that. Radio, don't really need that a whole lot. A camera, I always make sure I charge the GoPro the night before we head out to the campground. But before we head on the trail, I always make sure I have the GoPro, charging the GoPro. And other equipment can become part of the night before routine. Yep, I always make sure I charge everything the night before. And with the phone, my phone pretty much stays charged 24 hours a day. Especially when I'm in the car using Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Well, mainly Apple CarPlay because I have an iPhone. And if my phone needs to be charged in the Razor, I always have my 12-volt USB-C charging brick. I can just plug into my 12-volt and it charges up right away, which is great. Having a backup plan, knowing, if plan A doesn't work, here's plan B, rather than figuring everything out under pressure. I mean, with that, I don't really need to do that a whole lot. Next one is routines. I mean, this we can pretty much talk about freestyle because routines are pretty much part of my everyday life. It's kind of like tonight or today, eating breakfast, working on 2 shows, and we do our normal stuff every Sunday or every Saturday. Even with Sunday, I go to church, get breakfast, come home, and relax and do whatever I need to do. So, as far as trail riding, there's no particular routine that we need to have. Like, we don't need to go to Trail 6 each time. We can always do Trail 4, which has the rock trails and the more technical trails. I think that's what broke my wheel bearing, is the rocky trails at Carolina Adventure World. Yeah, not the good at all. So, routines, I mean, we have our normal routine, especially for loading in and loading out. We, my dad loads up or he hooks up his trailer to his Chevy Colorado Trail Boss. I pull out the razor. Yeah, I pull out the razor out of the garage, and I give the side by side of my dad so he can park it on the trailer, and he uses his he locks locks the wheels into place using his he puts it on the trailer, he ties it up so no matter how fast we're going on the interstate, going from Conway to Winnsboro, it won't fly off or slide all over the place. So we kind of lock it into place. We've only had the straps come off like once, and that was just only one of them. And we fixed it. We went back on the road, and everything's good. Everything was good. So as far as routines, loading out from our house to go to Carolina Adventure World has always been the same. We always get up early in the morning so we can have a full day on the trail. We can load in at our cabin. And we can have a full day on the trail because it takes an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2.5 hours for both Trail 4 and Trail 6 to go riding. And we also go another 2.5 hours another, and I guess that's after we go back to the cabin to have lunch, which we usually make sandwiches and with chips and everything. We have a very small lunch when we go, so that's kind of like our routine, is that we would ride an hour, hour and a half to 2.5 hours on the trail, then we come back to the cabin, eat lunch, and then we're back on the trail for another hour, hour and a half. And then we come back, eat dinner, watch a movie. And one thing that's going to change is the technology. When we go in the fall, macOS 27 is no longer going to have the DVD player support, which is what I've been mostly using for the first year of owning my side-by-side, is going back, watching a movie after eating dinner, taking a shower, and relaxing. But instead of using my computer for watching movies, which has been my routine, is to pull out my computer, watch a movie while I'm working on my trail riding video. I got my AudioVox D1708 portable DVD player. I can just pop in a movie. Like so, I guess we need to do another routine. We need to go like the day before, pick up a battery for the remote. I can use this portable DVD player in the cabin. We're going to have a duplex cabin, so I'll have my own little sitting area where I can sit and watch a movie on my 7-inch portable DVD player. I can sit it somewhere. I'm not sure if there's a Yeah, I'm not really sure if there's um, a table to put the DVD player on so I can watch movies. So that'd be my dedicated movie player instead of using my computer. Even though I can use VLC, I decide not to use VLC. I like to have something more simplistic, especially when when I'm camping. So that's that. So that's kind of like part of my routine. Is after I eat dinner, we pretty much have the same things: smash burgers, hot dogs, whatever one I make, and then take a shower, relax, and watch a movie on my portable DVD player, and go to bed. Get up the next morning, make breakfast, and head on the trail and do the same thing. So we're basically keeping a routine, but a good routine, not a bad routine, because some routines can get kind of boring after a while. But this one's a good routine. Passion. So when it comes to passion, okay, passion, according to ChatGPT, said could be one of the strongest parts. Okay, because a deep interest in side-by-sides and off-roading can translate into knowledge, attention, and motivation. Being motivated to riding the trails. So it really helped me personally. Okay, wanting to learn everything about your side by side. Yeah, wanting to learn everything about your side by side. Oh, yeah. Like, we already know the power. I mean, a lot of people, especially on TikTok, don't really understand my machine like I do, which is why I learned everything about my own machine, which is a non turbo 999cc naturally aspirated ProStar Gen 2 engine with 114 horsepower, four seater, and it's belt driven, so I know how to maneuver it. Yeah, its controls, maintenance capabilities, limitations, and how it behaves on different terrain. Oh, yeah. I've learned a lot about that over the last year of owning the side by side. I've pretty much learned the basic routine of starting it up, making sure it's put into park before starting back up again, or else it won't turn on. It's kind of a safety mechanism. Remember to put it in park. That's happened before. So I know everything about the controls, maintenance, which is where it's taking it to Redlining Power Sports because we get the 3-year maintenance plan, and after 3 years we'll have to start paying for the maintenance, which is fine with me. I'm fine with. It's keeping this machine going for years and years to come, getting it professionally done with people who know how to maintain this machine. Capabilities of what it's capable of, the limitations. Okay, that kind of goes into the same thing. Compatibilities, limitations of what it's capable of, what it's limited to. Basically, when it's when you're trail riding, of what kind of terrain this machine is capable of, and also being autistic means knowing the knowledge of what trails have the abilities of your machine and not go on any complicated trails to avoid the complicated trails that may not be part of our machine's capabilities and what it's limited to. and how it behaves on different terrain like rocks, mud, hill climbing, all that stuff, and knowing how to make it capable of doing certain things. Because my Polaris Razor has both four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive and low, and even has high and low gear. So I put in low gear, four-wheel drive when I'm climbing steep hills, and I might even start using it when I'm going down steep hills because we don't need all that power. Remembering details, yeah, trail names, obstacles, machine specifications, past rides, modifications, and what worked in particular situations. Especially, let's say, in the fall, I go back to Carolina Adventure World. I'll know everything about that trail inside and out because I've been there twice. But most of them have been multiple day trail rides. So I've kind of really learned the trails inside and out and what is capable of my machine, from these past trail rides. So trail names, especially with Trail 4 and Trail 6, I know the trail numbers, not the names of the trails, but the trail numbers. I've learned that Trail 6 has the more smaller trails, like a uh, one way, and then some are two way. One way is going this way, not this way. So Trail 6 is pretty much the more one way. Trail 4 has the more advanced hill climbing and all that other stuff. And I think Trail 4 has that really steep hill that goes up to that hill that we showed earlier in this episode where I was on the top of that hill and I could see for miles out there. That's on Trail 4. And that is where even more rock climbing goes, and it's wide open. So go a little bit faster, but not too fast, or else you'll flip over. And we don't want that. Machine specifications, yeah, like whether it's a turbo or non-turbo. Mine is a non-turbo with a 999cc ProStar Gen 2 engine with 114 horsepower. So going on certain trails with that kind of spec, you have to go on the easy to medium trails, or in the hard trails is more for more turbo charge engines, like the Polaris Pro line of side by sides, the Pro R. But I guess it all comes down to modifications, what you have on your side by side. Past rides, yeah. So that past rides, when it comes to that, is knowing exactly where to go, that you know exactly where to go, even when you get there, because you've been on that trail before. Like, say you live in Tennessee, or you've been to Tennessee before, and you went on the Windrock trails up in Tennessee. You know the trails inside out. Same thing with Georgia, West Virginia, the Half of McCoy trails. If you've been there before, you know the trails inside out. Or one of my favorite YouTubers, Adrenaline Junkie Prod, he's been to an off-road park up in Canada. He knows those trails inside out. I'm the same way with Carolina Adventure World and Riverneck. I've been to those trails so many times because they're so close to the south, to Conway, South Carolina. And maybe I might go to North Carolina one day and see if we can find some trails up in North Carolina. That'd be neat. And what worked in particular situations, especially knowing the trails inside out, of knowing, say, hey, we're coming up to the steep hill, got time to put it in four-wheel drive, low gear. Always wanting to improve. Oh yeah, here we go. Becoming smoother at throttle control, choosing better lines, navigating rocks or mud, and learning recovery techniques. So when it, oh, here we go. This is actually the key of becoming a really good driver on the trails in navigating pretty much everything. Like throttle control, choosing better lines, yeah, navigating rocks. Like at Carolina Adventure World, navigating those rocks to get up that hill, or mud, especially if it has rained a lot, navigating mud and learning recovery techniques on, I guess, I mean, I'm not sure what kind of recovery techniques they've been that they're wanting. Recovery techniques. I've never really learned any kind of recovery techniques because all of my rides have been smooth sailing. Didn't have to worry about recover from anything. I just have fun and just go with the flow. So that I'm not really sure about. Let's see. Enjoy. Yeah, enjoying preparation instead of seeing it as a chore. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Especially when, I'm always having fun filling it up with gas. I actually filled it with gas last night and actually enjoyed it. Pumping the gas and, getting it back to 100%. Yeah, checking the machine when organizing gear can be part of the fun when off roading is something you're passionate about. As an autistic adult, over the last year or so, off roading and side by side driving has become a big passion of mine, as opposed to just music and movies and TV shows and technology. Living here in the South, there aren't many things to do as far as being a redneck, country boy, southern boy. There's not much. And y'all know why. Everyone from up north is moving down here and changing everything, so there's a lot less outdoorsy stuff to do here in Conway, Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, all that stuff. And it's hard to be a redneck, a country boy, this day and age. So I've really have come to love the art of side by sides and UTVs and trail riding and exploring the world using the side by side, exploring different trails, different scenery, enjoying everything. And really getting out and exploring nature instead of just sitting here in my man cave all day every day, just going out and exploring. It's something I've really become passionate about, and prepping for that is even more fun. Maybe next time we go to Carolina Adventure World, I'll help my dad prep the food. I'll help him prep because it's part of the fun. I'll help him pack. I pretty much pack my own. Like, I know having fun packing the movies is more fun. I can sit down on the floor, look through my different DVDs, and find movies I know I would really love to watch or during the trail rides or after the trail rides. Or if I want to watch a specific TV show, I can grab one of my favorite complete series TV shows and then pack those and watch those for the duration of the trip. Especially when I go back to the cabin after I'm done eating dinner, taking a shower. It's fun picking out movies. But I might also help my dad with food and other prep because it's all part of the fun of going, trail riding, getting everything ready to go. Staying engaged on long rides. When it comes to long trail rides, especially when I go to places like the Half of McCoy Trails. That's gonna be a much longer ride than what Carolina Adventure World and Riverneck offer. So I'm really engaged because you're doing something you generally love. I'm always engaged on long trail rides. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm always engaged on really long trail rides because it allows me to explore the different trail systems and really exploring half of McCoy trails, going to Wind Rock in Tennessee and Durhamtown in Georgia, and exploring all the different trails this country has to offer. Mostly here on the eastern part. I mean, going to the western end, and you know, it's hard going far, far out with the side by side. With my side by side, it has to stay on the eastern time zone within driving distance, where we can make a day trip out of it and then get home in less than a day or so, which is why we go to Carolina Adventure World in Riverneck. It's not that many places. There's not that many places in South Carolina to go trail riding, especially in Horry County, because Northerners have taken over and just destroyed a lot of places that we can actually go trail riding. We'll have to talk about that in a future video. Researching trails before riding on them. Oh, this is actually this is actually part of the fun of getting ready to go off-roading, especially as an autistic person, is that this has become so part of my interest. Using technology to do the research is a lot of fun because you can check the websites for each of these trail systems and hope for the best. And you can see where you're going to be staying, looking at planning the routes for the different trails before you even get there. I mean, it's fun using the web to do the research of your trails. Or basically here on YouTube. This is why I created the YouTube channel, Trails on the Spectrum, is to help you guys, especially with my trail ride videos, Carolina Adventure World, Riverneck, and picking out where you want to go and see, hey, that's fun, we should check those out. Yeah, watch trail videos, studying maps, learning about difficult sections. That's actually part of the fun of becoming an autistic trail rider, is that you're so engaged into this hobby, you'll do anything to make sure you have a good time. And that is watching trail videos that say on your TV. Like, I can go to my TV right here, and I can go to the YouTube app, because a lot of TVs have native YouTube apps, and I can watch them on the big screen instead of having to watch on my very small, teeny tiny screen. And since they're trail running videos, to help out with the YouTube algorithm, which, before I forget, do me a favor and hit that like button, hit the notification bell, hit that subscribe button so you get notified when a new video goes live, or I do another episode of Trail or the Off-Road Campground podcast. Like, I could look up We'll type in. Let's say I want to go to the Hatfield McCoy Trails. Oh, here we go. Hatfield McCoy Trails. There you go. Ooh, Adrenaline Junkie Prod 3 years ago did a Hatfield McCoy trail ride. Awesome. Awesome. I can really see before I even get there. Wow, that looks fun. Wow. So this is basically part of the research process is going onto the YouTube app and checking out different trail riding vlogs from other riders to see if that's something you want to do. Wow, that looks like fun. Or I can check out, let's say, there's a lot from Adrenaline Junkie Prod. But that's really cool. So you can pretty much go to riding the Rock House Trail system at Hatfield McCoy, West Virginia. So that's part of the research. And it's actually part of the fun. Watching, yeah, that's part of the research. Yeah, that's part of the researching trails before riding them segment. Watching trail videos, studying the maps. I go to their website. If they have a website, look at their map. I learned about difficult sections, which that could be difficult. Those rocky parts of the trail could be hard. And learning from every ride. That's another thing is thinking afterward about of what went well and what you might do differently next time. Which for me, I always pick it up really easily. That's what's great about being autistic is that a lot of us know how to maneuver and how to navigate certain situations before we even think about it. Like we always think about it. And that's what makes us hyper focused on learning from every ride of what went well and what we might do differently next time. It's like for the fall, me and my dad. So when it comes to doing something differently next time, I'll try to put like especially going downhill. I've really learned a lot from. I guess I'll try not to break. Oh, that's another thing is learning not to break another wheel bearing. Next time I go to like Cal Adventure World. So having learned from that ride of not breaking another wheel bearing, especially when I go uphill, or what I might do different next time. I mean, I guess just part of the fun of riding. And when it comes to going downhill, I'm gonna try to put it in low gear. Yeah, low gear, two wheel drive, two wheel low. Because it's a flat surface, there's no need for four wheel drive. So we're gonna put it into two wheel low, so I know exactly what to do next time. and see if that does anything. Okay, share the passion with other people. Yeah, my says my podcast is a good example. The off-road campground podcast, taking interest in off-roading and turning it into something I can talk about and share. So basically, share the passion with other people, share it with other riders, create a YouTube channel, create a podcast, share the knowledge, share the passion and the love that you have for the off-road community and just off-roading in general. We need more like that. Even though this one hasn't been the most successful, no one has been watching my show, and I don't know where I would want to take this and how to reach more people when it comes to the podcast. And so a good podcast talking point, yeah, when something becomes one of my biggest passions, I don't just want to do it, I want to understand it. So focusing and passion and prep and passion and all that other stuff really comes together to create one huge way that I don't let my autism define me as a person. I just continue doing what I love, and that's trail riding, and especially when I'm not DJing, when I don't have a gig coming up, I'll be like, yeah, let's go hit the trails. Let's go somewhere. So I don't have to work for a while. Yeah, I don't have to worry about certain gigs for a while, and I can just say, Dad, let's go hit the trails. Let's go somewhere. Let's go to Carolina Adventure World. Let's go to River Neck. Let's go to Georgia. Let's go to Tennessee. Let's go to West Virginia. Let's do some more trail riding. So all of this comes together to make one big interest, and why I'm actually really good at trail riding. And so we actually went through everything on the podcast, like about focus, preparation, routines, passion, and all of that comes together to create one big interest and one big hobby, a strong hobby at that, of the love of trail riding and going exploring different trails, seeing different scenery, especially up in West Virginia. Because my brother and my sister-in-law live near Pittsburgh, so we might go to the Half of McCoy trails in that part of West Virginia, and they can meet us out there, and we can go trail riding and have fun, go see some scenery and all that stuff, in the Razor. So it's definitely something I've been really wanting to do this winter, is to go explore new trails, not just Carolina Adventure World or River Neck. I really want to go exploring the new trails this winter. That's my goal for this winter. That's another thing, is setting goals. Especially when this is my first year or so trail riding, I've become really good at it. And I like a challenge. I like having a challenge. I like having a challenge of conquering different trails, regardless. So, going trail riding in my Polaris Razor is definitely really fun. and looking for a challenge on different trails and looking at different scenery and just going exploring. This is something I've been telling my dad a lot about. Ever since I got rid of my golf cart, yeah, ever since I got, rid of my golf cart, I've been exploring a lot more. So going exploring is something I can do in a side by side that I can't do in a golf cart. See, the golf cart for me never left the neighborhood, so it never really got driven. It just sat in the garage. The batteries were dying, and when I wanted to drive it, it couldn't start. So we gave my cousin the side by side a year ago this year, and it actually just passed. The anniversary just passed. But I cannot believe it's been a year, a little over a year. If I go to my photos, August 2025, and I got rid of the golf carts on August the 9th. So on August 9th, 2026, it actually marked the 1 year anniversary of getting rid of that golf cart and starting a whole new journey with a whole new passion, a whole new interest, all new everything, and developing a love. Yeah, developing a love and a passion and a really strong interest in side by sides, in trail riding in general, exploring nature. Because it's what I've loved to do. And I always love doing my research on where to go next. That's another part of the research, is knowing where to go next. Explore, kind of look up different trails in a certain state you want to go to, in a certain town or a certain state you want to go to, and see where you want to go, and look up that website and see what it looks like. Let's say that I want to go back to, yeah, if I want to go back to South Dakota, and I want to spearfish, and with the modernization of AI, you can actually, use that to look up multiple sources. That's what's great about AI and using it the right way, is looking at multiple sources, different websites of different trails to go. This is actually using AI the right way, because it actually looks up on different websites, kind of use it as a more advanced source. We'll delete all the chats and we'll start fresh. We'll come to chat. Yeah, we'll come to chat. Okay, and I can say trails in Spearfish, South Dakota. And then searching the web. Yeah, if you mean side-by-side UTV trails around Spearfish. Looking at the northern Black Hills. The Black Hills National Forest has more than 700 miles of designated OHV trails, plus many connecting forest roads. Wow. So it pretty much uses the web, looks up all the information about South Dakota, Rock House, Trail 17, Havre-McCoy Trails. Looks nice. Some good areas to look are at our Tinton Road, about 9 miles south of Spearfish, Iron Creek, Lake, 13 miles south. The Trails Head, Cheyenne Crossing area, Galena, and Nemo. I think there was a video of Destination Polaris, and they explored the Black Hills of South Dakota, and one of them was Custer Peak. Yeah, for a side by side, I'd especially look at the Iron Creek Lake and Trails Head systems. Be aware that some trails are restricted to machines 62 inches wide or less, while others are open to wider vehicles. A Black Hills motorized trail permit is required on designated motorized trails on the South Dakota side of the National Forest. So that's another good thing is that, I mean, that's a good example, is knowing where to go next and having that passion, that drive to continue doing what you love and plan ahead before the actual trail ride even begins, and not just stick with the usual trails that I'm used to, like Carolina Adventure World and Riverneck. Both of those are like off-road parks with different terrain, because there's not many places here in South Carolina because of the Northerners, Yankees, as we call them, down here in the South. There aren't many places to go trail riding. I mean, it's going to be hard to find somewhere in my local area to go trail riding because of it. So we got to go outside of Conway, outside of Myrtle Beach, and go somewhere where there's a lot of trails, a lot of, forests, and just going off road. And we got to look way beyond my local area and really start exploring, because not too many places. Yeah, not too many places have places you can go trail riding, especially nowadays. It's hard. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Off Road Campground Podcast. I will see you guys next time. And keep conquering those trails. Peace. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified when a new episode goes live, or I start doing post another trail riding video in the future. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.